Welcome to Ikaseringa's podcast. Buffet, this is your boy Pegs and I'm back. Yenye episode. Fede weekly catch up. So catch up afandar. So what's been going on through my week? Fede yavumbo SABC ithi ngicela ukuthi nibhadaleni ama radio license. Wonke umuntu aphambana. Ini radio license. So it means ukuthi through iphone yami mele ngibhadale i radio license. TV because i-TV amanye ama-TV ane-radio kumele ngibhadale i-radio license. It-runs kumele ngibhadale i-radio license. So uyibhadala, so asithi because we all have these devices, probably 4 or 5 abanye banama-tablet, ama-laptop, so 5 6 devices in your phone. So kumele wabhadalele each and every device or you have to pay once. But I know this was a sort of a gimmick stunt from I don't know who. We don't know the source which Buyava, since SABC is in denial of that release. I mean, for me, man, even I was like 90 days at jail. Or Melupatali fine 750. Man. Koninte off la. And there's a spelling error at the end. Like even you find I think a sentence before the last. You need to produce. It needs to say produce. It says the product. I knew. Lento le ayichekwanga le. Therefore, 100% false. But anyway, if it was true, it wouldn't make sense lento abayibhalela lapha. Having to pay a radio license to a device engaki. And it's our own. And funny thing mabayibhala labati, we are trying new revenue streams. Because we see people are opting for Netflix, Prime, and all these other platforms. So sizama indlela yokwenza imali. Therefore, melu patale for a radio license. So that was one thing which was crazy. But anyway, speaking of my license, I'm a radio license for podcasting. They've been there in the past for a radio. You need to have a radio license for podcasting. And the first radio station to be given a license was called the Bush Radio. So it was established around 1980s. Its sole mission was solely for giving people a voice. For the ones who are from the disadvantaged communities, especially Tina as blacks. So it's sort of giving us a voice, and it was a sort of a radio for social activism. Yes, social activism. That was the word. So we push that and go to know, man. This apartheid government, it tuned into his ganja, and we need a voice, and they were operating illegally. As much as they were wanting to be established as a brand, as a radio, they were started operating illegally before they were given even a radio license to broadcast. So it was after 1994 where after the NC government came up with an authority called the IBA, Independent Broadcasting Authority, which meant that they were regulating all of the radio stations that was coming up, even the ones that were there, including the Bush Radio. So after that, they sort of gave them, the Bush Radio, a 1 year of a temporary license, license to say do your thing for a year. I think it was given to them around 2002, about July, if I'm remembering well. About 2002, they were given the temporary license to broadcast the station. And then after a while, through a conversation again about what this authority means for the internet, for information age, and for spread information, people to learn from this thing, and they're spreading information. So I think they had those conversations, that's what I believe. And then they sort of then gave them a 4-year permanent license. That was, I think, in 2002. So they were operating with frequency 89.5, if I'm not, 89.5. So lento yama radio license is not really new, but the only question that I had, mangfunda riding, fake release SABC was, if comes a time where you have to pay for radio licenses, don't you think there will be a time where you have to pay to even have a podcast like this? Just take your camera, your microphone, you record on your laptop, your phone, whatever, to say, in order for you to do that, you will need to have a license. And so those are some of the questions I had. When you look at other countries like about China, when you look at their TikTok, It's specifically to them, my Chinese. There's no European TikTok in China. There's no African TikTok in China. It's only Bonakpela. So that is a law as a China. Maybe there's a time where he's figure out to say, if you want to do a podcast, you must apply. You must pay tax. Yes, we know you're putting it on the line. Go YouTube, on all these other platforms, Prime Video, wherever you put them, Vimeo. But you need to pay a fine. If we do have, if it does figure up where we were starting to have those conversations, I think this whole idea of democracy, I think, will be, blown over. Because, do we really live in a democratic country? That's a really an open discussion for you and your friends and family to discuss, not Nami. But, Buffett, those are some of the thoughts I had around the TV, radio license. Maybe there is a time as of figure where even this is regularized. It's checky. What is this guy saying? What is this guy information about? No, we should put laws around this to say, hey, the upcoming guy, gopi, you need to pay a fine to broadcast your stuff, even though it's free on the internet. Let's hope we don't get to that stage. But hey, this was just my thoughts. But tell me what you think in my comment section. Like, subscribe, share with other podcasters out there, share with other Machita Bagu Radio, TV, wherever. Just share with your friends and family and have this conversation. If you are a content creator or you might be interested in creating content, even though people watch about 2 about 3, it doesn't matter. Lastly, on my mind this week, I know there's a TV show, ibonisa abantu baye emathuneni bagubha abantu. Okay, bagubha abantu, but they bafaka imithi la. That was disturbing for me, Nafidi. But I was thinking, if this thing is so scary as South Africans see, as South Africa, this thing is, because the reason why it's scary, let me tell you, the reason why it's scary is because it's close to home. We know, that thing, that's why it's scary. But other cultures have been doing the same thing in media, but nobody speaks up. Look at Harry Potter, but you never see people saying, this thing is scary, I got Harry Potter. Actually, people fantasize ufana no Harry Potter. They also want the sky. Abo Lord of the Ring, faki ring, kuluma voice, soromano ya vuga, kuye ntabeni kuyolahla ring. The whole idea, a Lord of the Rings, is witchcraft. But people are like, this one is much more nice. But bega le ase South Africa. Magaye matune ni da. Reading is dark. Harry Potter yakubhayizisa papa ngomchanyelo uvuke ebusuku umathi ngobe invincible. Siyachazeka intwana. But lo yabangagubha lapha. Afaka imithi this thing le But anyway, witchcraft. Whether it's done by Europeans, whether it's done by Africans, whether it's done by Chinese, whether it's done glamorized on films and series. Abantu bapapa ngemichanyela bo Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings kunomthakathi la uvanga induku cha phansi kuvuleka imihlaba. It doesn't matter. Ubthakathi at the end of the day. So Buffett, that was my 2 cents. Considering as podcast, let me know if you disagree with one of the comments, or even better, funa ukuzwakala eshowini ngithinte lapha kuma TikTok, ngithinte kuma comments lapha yana ntwana yami. Considering as podcast, so Pegs and I'm out. Shapa moya.